Okay, so this is a correction of the classwork from Tuesday. As you would have seen, all the measurements are given on this. There is a mistake on the actual drawing. It is only 70 tall. It says it's 75, but you'll see what I mean when I start drawing. So draw your horizontal line to start. The elevation is going to go on the left-hand side because A is pointing left, so A is going to go over on the left. B will go on the right-hand side, and your plan C will always go underneath A. So it's 100 wide and it's split up into 20. The 60 needs to be split in two, so 30 and 30, and then 20 to finish it off. So that's how the 100 it'll be divided. The overall height is 70. Now it says it's 75, but it's actually only 70 tall. And it's split up into 20, 30, and not 25, it's split up into 20 on top. Okay, so that 25 should be a 20. Bring all the measurements up and across, and you'll have your grid. When you have your grid complete, like this is there now lightly in 2H pencil, you're going to start putting your information in heavy. So you can see up on the sides, it'll be 50 tall, heavy on both sides. And then your triangle will start coming in. The base is 20 tall, and it's split up into 20, 60, and 20, and that's what will be heavy on the bottom. Okay, just showing you what the colour scheme in the actual 3D is. And now you'll start bringing down all of your points into plan. Leave a little bit of a gap before you do the 60, just to keep a gap between the elevation and the plan. Bring all of your widths down and bring all of your measurements across the 320s across your page, and your grid will come into focus. The 320s are coming from that end view, all those measurements there on the right hand side. When you have your grid, you can see that there's going to be like an upside down C, and you can see that in my grid here. That's what's going to be in heavy. Okay, so that C shape is kind of coming in now, and that is the plan complete. Again, color scheme to follow. Okay, so you can see where everything is coming from. The last thing that you need to do is your end view. Now they always leave a gap in between the end view and the 45-degree line. Yes, they have a gap. You do not need to draw this line. You'll just bring all of the points, the 3 points up here, well, 4 points actually at 45 degrees. You can see the 4 points, 1, 2, that's C, bring out to the edge, and then this edge point, that's 4 points you'll be bringing up at 45 degrees. They will go directly up. You always draw those vertically up. And your grid will come into focus. It's going to be kind of like an L block, and there will be a little bit of hidden detail in it. Okay, the hidden detail, when you're looking in the direction B, you can't see that line. It's at the back, so you show it as hidden detail. And again, the colour scheme is to follow. Now, that was your classwork from Tuesday. What I'm going to show you now is I'm going to show you the next set of questions. So your next set of questions are kind of these 3 questions. I am going to do the first one for you. Now, there is no hidden detail in this question, but there will be in the 2 questions you'll be looking at today. So today we want to get these 3 done. I will do the first one for you, and you will do, just the one more question, apologies. Sorry, no, I will do one in class and then one to follow. So I'm starting off with this one, and as I'm just going to zoom in on the measurements for you. So A is pointing right, so A is going to go on the right hand side of the sheet. B is pointing left, so it's going to go on the left hand side of the sheet. And C, the plan, is pointing down, but it always has to go underneath the elevation. The elevation is 90 wide in total. It is 60 tall, and they're all divided up into different widths, 70 and 20, also 20, 30 and 40, and the height 60 is divided up into 320s. I'm going to start this on the page now. I'm just going to zoom out so you can see my whole entire page and move the book out of the way. So bear that in mind, it's 90 wide in total, divided up into 70 and 20, and also 20, 30 and 40. The height was 60, divided up into 320s. Okay, grab your 2H pencil and we can start into this question. Okay, so like always, you're going to start with your horizontal or ground line. Okay, I know the thing is taking a little bit of time to get focused, but the elevation has to be 90 wide, and it's going on the right hand side, as you can see. The 90 needs to be divided up into 70 and 20, but it also needs to be divided up into 20, 30 and 40. So that's 20, there's the further 30, and then the final 40. It's then going to be 60 tall. And as you can see, I'm going to transfer all of these measurements, the entire length of the page. And I'm going to put in that 60 now in a second. So 60 tall, which is divided up into 3 20s. And once you have these transferred across your page, you should see your grid coming into focus, and we'll be able to put in the lines in heavy. Okay, so I have my grid done, and you should be able to see your grid now. But basically this is an L block with a block on top, and there's a slope surface that's going to be a little bit smaller in size. So we can start putting these things in heavy now. So it's 60 tall, so that can go in heavy. Okay, it's going to come out for that initial 20. There is a block on top. There is a sloped surface in front that appears as a rectangle. So I have all the vertical lines done. Horizontal now, start from the top and work your way down. Okay, you'll get more used to this the more questions you do. But I'm going to bring you back to the question there now. So basically there's an L block with a rectangle and then a rectangular block on top. So my L block, the rectangle for the slope surface, and the block on top, that's what I have. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap now, because you should always leave a little bit of a gap between the plan and the elevation. So I've just done the elevation, I'm now onto the plan. Leave a little bit of a gap, and then the plan is a total width of 60 divided up into 40 and 20. So I'm leaving a little bit of a gap. It's only 60 wide. I apologize, I'm just going to change my set square for a second, because that one isn't, it's a little bit broken at the end. So I'm using 60 millimeters, it's divided up into 40 and 20. And I bring those measurements across my page. And as you can see, my grid is now complete. So I'm going to bring you back to the drawing again. When I look down on this, I see a rectangle. I see kind of another rectangle, and then I see this funny shape. So there's a bit of a slope going on this, so I need to show it. So the slope is going from one corner to the other of the first box. Okay, now I'm going to start with my vertical lines like I've always done. So the first rectangle, the second rectangle, and then the funny shape, which brings me to the end of the surface, and then all of the horizontal lines. So starting on the top and working our way down along the page until we have the whole drawing complete. So that's the plan complete. And now I need to do an end view, and everything needs to come up at 45 degrees. So grab your 45-degree set square and transferring the end points, but also see these 2 points. When you bring them out to the end, just bring them out to the end like I have done there. Transfer it at 45 degrees. And you'll have 3 points on the base, which you're just going to transfer vertically up. Now I know I'm casting a shadow myself on this, but don't worry, you can still make out what I'm doing. Okay, so I have the grid complete for this as well. So I have 3 vertical lines, and I have the 3 sets of horizontal lines as well, and I can pop in what needs to go in heavy. So it is going to be a full vertical line on the edge. There's a block on top that needs to be shown, and the sloping surface and the edge. Okay, so the top is heavy, the top of the block is heavy, and that whole top surface will be heavy, and then the baseline. Okay, so I'm just going to bring you back to the drawing and show you where all of those lines have come from. So when I'm looking in the direction of B, you can see that's going to be a rectangle along with that rectangle, so that's where those 2 rectangles come from. There's this box on top, which is where this rectangle comes from. And then finally there's this upside down L, which is what this is. Okay, so that's where everything comes from. I'm going to post a picture of these 3 questions so you can see the measurements and where they're coming from. So I've done this one for you. I'll help you along with this one in class, and then this one you'll work on your own. Okay, see you live in class now.